What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about some top meta teams, top performing Pokemon that are rising up to the rank of legend. Players have already been able to reach that rank this season, this early. Most of us watching are not there yet, but huge congrats to everyone that has. So we have a beautiful graphic here made by DracoViz. You guys should definitely go follow them on Twitter. They keep you up to date with everything when it comes to Go Battle League important information like GBL teams and the Play Pokemon Tournament series. So be sure to go give them a follow. I'll have a link down in the description to that. Now, when it comes to the Great League meta, things have kind of shifted. If you guys remember from last season, some of the top performing Pokemon and teams that we were using, there was a lot of Alolan Sandslash, there was a lot of Serperior, there was a lot of Lantern, Azumarill, Medicham. That was kind of the core. And this season, we've kind of seen a paradigm shift to Pokemon like Talonflame, like Poliwrath, like Skeledirge. Altaria has made a comeback. Medicham really hasn't been used that much this season. Its nerf to Psychic was pretty sizable. So we're going to take a look at some of these teams. Obviously, you can see 3 there already, but there are 11 in total. Team number 1. Jesus AWC was the first legend of the Timeless Travels running this double electric team with quote-unquote the bus and Spark Lantern. So the first player in the world to hit legend used this team. Charjabug, Lantern, and Talonflame. As we can see right here for reference, the blue color is the lead, so that would be Charjabug. The pivot or the safe swap is going to be the Lantern here, and then the closer is the Talonflame. So they were obviously running double electric. Charjabug made a big comeback this season. It's just a great generalist in terms of its coverage, the moveset that you can run on it. You obviously want Volt Switch as the fast move, but then you have 3 good options for charge moves. You have X-Scissor, Discharge, and Crunch. So depending on your team, I imagine this one probably had X-Scissor to help out against Grass. But we do see that Double Electric was the #1 team to hit legend this season. Team number 2 is going to be from Lyle Jeffs the Third, or Lyle Jeffs 3, a triple shadow team right here with a Shadow Gligar, a Shadow Poliwrath, and a Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Now, the Poliwrath acted as the safe swap, and it honestly does very well in that position, much like Dugong has in the past and currently with Icy Wind. When you have that type of debuff coverage in the mid-game, it can be very beneficial for you, especially if you draw out Grass-type Pokemon. You're hitting them for super effective damage, you're debuffing them, and then you can come back in and hard farm with something like Gligar. Or in this case, maybe drawing out flyers like a Talonflame, which has been very popular, and able to debuff them or do super effective damage to them with Scald or debuff them with Icy Wind. And the Alolan Sandslash is going to have Shadow Claw, as they state right here, and it's going to be Shadow. So a triple Shadow team. Poliwrath also did have counter Icy Wind and Scald for reference. You could swap out the Alolan Sandslash for a Lickitung as well if you're looking for a replacement on this team. Team number 3 is going to be from Dunebug, who won San Antonio with Skeledirge, which really turned my head. Like, I need to be using this Pokemon more this season. I used it a lot last season, and that's because of the meta that was there. It was a lot of Serperior, a lot of Medicham, and a lot of Alolan Sandslash, so Skeledirge deleted them. But this season, we saw an update to Incinerate. Its damage was increased, so both Talonflame and Skeledirge greatly benefited from that. Now, they also have Whiscash here as the safe swap, which is very risky anytime a Pokemon has a double weakness to something. So in this case, grass type Pokemon like Razor Leaf from Shadow Victory Bell. It's tough to use those as a safe swap. But in a meta where there's maybe not as many grass type Pokemon, maybe we're not seeing as many Serperiors as we did last season, it's actually could be a safer safe swap, right? And you do have the threat of potential Blizzard, but I imagine he ran it with Scald and Mudshot, and then you could swap that out for a Cresselia if you want as a safe swap. And then we have a Altaria close, so a core of Altaria and Skeledirge. Team number 4 here in the bottom left is going to be Charge Bug, Lickitung, and Whiscash. This is coming from me, Weedle, and Wise Saren from both run the Charge Bug, Lickitung core, with having the option of Whiscash or Registeel as your safe swap. Now, I feel like, me personally, when it comes to safe swaps, again, I like something that's more neutral, so Registeel would be a better option for me in this situation as a safe swap, but Lickitung can also be a safe swap there for you. I mean, Lickitung's a great safe swap as well. I forgot Yellow. Sorry, when I do my team building for myself on my, when you set up the team in Go Battle League, the Pokemon on the farthest side, the right, is my safe swap, because then it's the bottom one when you're battling, which is closer for me to click. That's just how I do it. So in my head, that's how I reference. But here, Lickitung can be safe swap. Whiscash as an anchor can do very well, or Registeel. And then here, I'm sorry, some of these names I just don't know how to pronounce. So is it LL lowercase L's, or is it double capital I's? QM ran the anti-meta core breaker with Trevenant as well, which had a great success to Legend. Skeledirge is something to watch out for, as there's another Skeledirge is on notice. There's another ghost type in town, so the return of Trevenant this season. I have personally had trouble against Trevenant teams. It has done very, very well, and pairing it with this core, this actually looks like a team I would really want to run. I'm still working on my Lickitung candy. I'm almost getting there. My Lickitung is like 1450 combat power, so I only need like 5 or 6 more power-ups. Not too many left. We're almost there. And Shadow Gligar there as the safe swap. All right, next team, Tetsuo 106T ran this team with a double dragon, which does have this is going to be Defense Form Deoxys. So Defense Form Deoxys moveset is going to be Counter, Psycho Boost, and Thunderbolt. And then you can sub out. Okay, so basically, you run Deoxys lead, and then you have either double Dragon, so Shadow Dragonair and Guzzlord, or you have double counter user, so Vigoroth and Poliwrath. Both of these look very fun and very viable. I personally don't have Guzzlord yet in the Great League, so I'd probably have to run the Vigoroth Poliwrath variant. So maybe give this a try. I imagine you could still do well with Poliwrath there and Dragonair. Those would still be a good combination. Next team is going to come from Padoman and Gdansk here with Shadow Dragonair, Vigoroth, and Lantern. So the Shadow Dragonair and Lantern core, because that's the anchor, can be very powerful, as Dragonair's biggest weaknesses this season are maybe Ice-type Pokemon, so like a Dugong, which Lantern can do well against, right? And then Fairy-type Pokemon, so a Wigglytuff, for example, and Lantern's bulk really helps out there, as the Vigoroth safe swap as well is going to do pretty well. Got access to Rock Slide, a very, very good charge move, and very annoying to face off against if you are taking super effective damage, because it gave it coverage to Pokemon it couldn't threaten really before. So a Talonflame, for example. Talonflame would eventually have to shield Body Slams, but now it has to fear the one-shot from Rock Slide, which changes the whole dynamic of the game. So really cool team right there. Next team we have is more of a classic triple, like, thick it up, or not triple thick it up because we got Alolan Sandslash, but it's going to be Azumarill, Lickitung, and Shadow Alolan Sandslash from Suyu17 and Tetsu 106T. Both ran this team to Legend. Bubble, Ice Beam, and Play Rough is going to be the Azumarill moveset, and then Powder Snow, Ice Punch, and Drill Run is going to be the Alolan Sandslash moveset, which is, oh, you guys can't see that, sorry, there you go. Which is a bit different than Shadow Claw. And the reason why, the biggest reason why you would run Powder Snow over Shadow Claw is to help out against Lickitung. Lickitung is common. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it is common on a lot of teams. It's basically like, I don't know what else to put it, not disregarding anyone that uses it, obviously, but it is so good as a team filler that it doesn't matter what kind of core you have. You could just throw a Lickitung in there and it'll do the job. But yeah, Powder Snow really helps out against that Lickitung for neutral damage. And obviously, now with Shadow Dragonair being very common and very top meta, it's going to help out there as well as picking up the grass-type Pokemon like Trevenant with super effective damage. So really strong team right there. Next one we have from JW Naldo is running a classic Dugong and a Gligar combination there with a Trevenant, so a Shadow Gligar. I personally don't have Shadow, I just have normal. So I think you could give the normal a try anyways. If you're looking at these teams and going, man, I could run this, but I don't have Shadow Gligar, try normal. I'm being completely honest, I know it's gonna change up some certain shielding scenarios because of how much damage you could do with the Dig or how much damage you could do with the Aerial Ace. But it's still, I think it would be worth a try. But Dugong this season shaping up to be very strong because of how popular Dragon-type Pokemon are going to be. It's got the Drill Run for stuff like Lantern. It's got the Icy Wind debuffs. And then Trevenant obviously wants to hide in the back and hope that you can get rid of something like Talonflame, for example, before it catches it. All right, moving to the next Pokemon, we finally have our first Medicham team here, and that's going to be from Jason2890. Ran a very interesting ABA team, and Jason loves these types of teams. He's not, I'm an ABB kind of player. That's just how I like building my teams. It's fun that way for me to have a sweeper in the back, essentially. But Jason loves the ABA teams, and this makes a lot of sense because Dugong is such a good generalist. It's like up there with Lickitung in terms of the ability to just not care what it's facing off against and just set yourself up. And then with Carbink, obviously pairing with Medicham, that's a strong core because Carbink helps cover the dark like Sableye, for example, and then flyers like Talonflame, and then Medicham can handle basically a lot of the stuff that beats Carbink. So like Swampert, for example, right? Depends on your shielding setup, but ultimately, I think the whole play behind the team is just staying with Dugong, get yourself an advantage in some way, whether that's even shields, lose lead, but you can come in and hard farm down, or get yourself shield advantage, etc. All right, moving to the next and final team, we have LNDS Rargef, utilizing Chargebug, Lickitung, and Azumarill. So similar to the team right here with Alolan Sandslash, just in a different order, and a different Pokemon there on the lead. And they said you could swap out Chargebug for either Gligar or Clodsire. So really unique Pokemon that you could use there. I'm sure a lot of you could build this. The only ones who probably couldn't are those who are missing out on Lickitung or Azumarill. Depending on where you're at with your XL Candy. I personally still haven't got an XL Azumarill just yet, but my old one that I made in 2019 still does the job. Yeah, this is, the moveset on Azumarill is Bubble, Play Rough, and Hydro Pump. That is something very important to notice. And it's also good to recognize that they put it as the anchor. A safe swap Azumarill will basically almost always have Ice Beam, and that's to help out against grass-type Pokemon. So having it as an anchor means they want to utilize it with Hydro Pump. Yes, World of Warcraft just did an update for me. I do enjoy playing that game. We're going to go ahead and close that down. But yeah, very cool teams here. I believe, yes, this was made by Dracoviz and Yonkis. You guys know Yonkis. If you don't, well, you guys should go check him out. Awesome content creator. I'll link to his channel down in the description as well. Noticing that obviously he's on this graphic, so he helped make it. We got to give him the love and the shout out for that. And Dracoviz will have a link to their Twitter as well, so you guys can go check them out. You guys can go get this graphic for yourself. A lot of cool teams here, a lot of strong teams, and not every team is going to be something that works for you. That's very important. Teams, you have to recognize your strengths. So like, for example, the ABA team here from Jason isn't my cup of tea. Doesn't mean it's not strong. It's just not something I would vibe with. Now, something I could try that I think is up my alley is the Deoxys Double Dragon or Deoxys Double Fighter team. That's definitely something up my alley. This Dugong team, I think could work really well for me. I think the Gligar team here with Shadow Poliwrath, that could do really well for me just on my playstyle. Or this Skeledirge team, maybe with Cresselia instead of Whiscash and Altaria. That could work well for me too, just based on my playstyle. So hope you guys enjoyed. This was a bit of a talky video, but there's a lot of cool teams here that you guys can go reference and try out in Go Battle League. And again, shout out to ZyoniK and Dracoviz for making this graphic for everyone. And congrats to everyone, obviously, who hit Legend with these teams. Very cool. It's early on in the season, and hopefully these teams help you get there as well. So, like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.